complex than I think any of us would like to admit. From the beginning of this nation, the black life has not been valued as others. We've seen the civil rights movement progress. We've seen other movements go through. And the problem that I think we have is that because we haven't had as much coverage of it, we think that everything is okay. First, let's clarify a few things. The Black Lives Matter movement is not one organization that's just doing things. It's a coalition of different individuals and organizations who all share the same desire, and that is to make sure that black lives are represented equally and fairly. That's why it's exciting to see. That's why it's exciting to see a gathering of not just black people, but black people, white people, Hispanic people, everybody, because every life is important. Every life matters. The issue, though, right now, is that black lives are the ones that are being systematically targeted. That's why we march. That's why we protest. That's why we speak out. And so we're here today to make a statement. We're here today to start a conversation about how a black person feels in this country that's supposed to be the land of the free and the home of the brave. You know, the previous speaker said you have to ask questions of everything that you know. How can this be the land of the free if a person who decides not to do a certain thing gets ridiculed publicly because they didn't do something the way someone else wanted? That's not freedom. How can we be in a place where people can't say the things that they want to say without fear of offending others? That's not freedom. How can we live in a nation where I can't walk down the street or hold my hands up without getting shot? That's not freedom. So what Black Lives Matter to me means, and let me be clear, I'm not a representative of Black Lives Matter. I just think that Black Lives matter to me. Black Lives Matter is demanding equal representation, demanding equal protection, demanding equal recognition as a citizen of this country that we call America. We are not, the Black Lives Matter movement is not just a protest movement when someone gets shot. The Black Lives Matter movement has a lot of different policy prescriptions. Things like housing, things like education, things like political advancement. So the Black Lives Matter movement is more than just this one thing that you can hold in a hand and say black people are protesting because they're angry. Yes, we're angry, but we have a reason to be. Yes, we're hurt because we have a reason to be. Yes, we will fight because we have a reason to. But the fight doesn't have to be physical. The problem is we will never be powerful enough to go force with force. So we've got to use our minds. So to my black people, this is my question to you. Do black lives really matter? Because if they did, then we wouldn't allow the things that go on in our school system to happen. If black lives matter to us, we wouldn't allow the things to go on in our homes that we allow to go on. If black lives mattered, then our churches could be more effective in what they do. So, although I'm a minister in a Baptist church, I don't give the church a pass because we've dropped the ball. In the civil rights era, the church was the place where the people gathered. The church was the place where the people got educated. The church was the place where you went if you needed help, if you needed assistance, if you needed guidance. The problem is sometimes along the way, after Dr. King marched, after we were granted a few rights and stuff, I think some of us thought that we'd made it. We'd given up on the fight. What our lives now show us is that it's not over. You see, the things that are going on right now in this country, they're not new to black people. Being killed in the streets is not new to black people. Being framed is not new to black people. The difference is is that you can see it now because people are recording. So to me, that harkens back to Birmingham, Alabama in the 60s, when people saw for the first time police turn police dogs and fire hoses on young children. It's now in our face, people. We can see it now. The question, not just to black people, but to any good-hearted person who says they're a person of faith, who says they want equality, who says they want justice. The question is, now that we see the problem, are we going to be part of the solution? Because if you're not part of the solution, then you are part of the problem. I hope this is just the first of many conversations where people who haven't come from where I come from people who don't have the experiences that I have, we can sit down together and have a dialogue. Because too often what happens in the media is the extreme voices on either end get most of the press. And the voices in the middle, the reasonable people, they get drowned out. So my challenge to everyone here, my challenge is, go back to the places where you come from, and take stock of where you've come from and how your life would be different if you were me. Take stock of how my life would be different if I were you, and begin a dialogue with someone that you don't know. Ask them how their experience is. Ask them what their understanding is. Ask them why they're so angry. Ask them why they don't care. Because indifference is our enemy. Intolerance cannot go on. Dr. King said injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. And so every day, every time we see a video, every time we hear of a story where there's injustice, we've got to ask ourselves, where are those who are righteously indignant to the suffering of black people? Amen. Thank you.